How many kids do you want to have? How do you plan to raise your kids with their diet? Do you want to do social media forever? How did you know that your fiance was the one? What is your go-to comfort meal right now? What's something you're currently working on within yourself? What were you like as a kid? What's something you're currently obsessed with? What is one thing you wish more people knew about you off camera? What is your hidden talent? Are you an introvert pretending to be an extrovert? What is your guilty pleasure TV show? Are you going to take your fiance's last name? Don't forget, my Black Friday sale is happening right now, 30% off everything. This is my biggest sale of the year. It's not gonna come around again. You're gonna be kicking yourself if New Year's comes and you're like, should have joined the Slim program. I should have gotten those cookbooks. I should have gotten those supplements. So use the code Black Friday. The link is in the description bar. If you do get 30% off the Slim program, you lock that in. So as long as your Slim program membership stays active, you enjoy 30% off. I am actually filming this on Thanksgiving morning. We are gonna spend a little Thanksgiving morning together. So I thought it would be really cute and fun if I were to cook when I'm cooking for Thanksgiving together. And I'm just gonna answer some questions. Like, we're just gonna have a good time here. So I asked for questions on Instagram. If you're not following me, go do that. And we have a melange of questions. A lot of different questions here from all different categories. So let me tell you what I'm making. Right now, I am making a seitan roast. So here's the deal. My brothers are both working today on Thanksgiving. I have one brother who is a firefighter. I have another brother who works at the hospital. And this is not new to us. Here we go. Here comes the cat. You know, I'm the daughter of a nurse, so it was always the case that the holiday wasn't on the holiday. So we're actually celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow. And so I'm preparing the food today. So today, my fiance and I are just hanging out at home, watching football. We just watched the parade and then turned it off because I was like, I gotta film. I gotta hang out with my homies. So we're gonna be having traditional Thanksgiving dinner, a lot of stuff from my Healthy Holidays cookbook. I'm gonna be adding something to the Healthy Holidays cookbook this year. This is my second time making this. I made it last year, loved it, and so I'm making it again right now, and I'm gonna add it to the cookbook. If you already have the cookbook and you want an updated version, just email me and I'll get you the updated version. But it's a seitan roast, and the seitan roast is filled with stuffing. So I'm just gonna do some quick stuffing right now on the stove and answer the first question. How did you know that your fiance was the one? So I had an experience where when I met my fiance, I sat down, I saw him, and I've explained this feeling that I've had before, where I had the feeling like, you know, when you're little and you lose your mom in the grocery store and then you see her again and you find her and you're like, oh my gosh, thank God, I thought I lost you. There you are. That was the feeling that I got when I met my fiance, and I knew right from that second. And I was like, okay, this is it. I was 24, he was 24, and I actually texted my brother that night and I said, I just met the kid that I'm gonna marry. And actually that text that I sent to my brother is going to be the napkins at our wedding. So that'll be fun. I also am baking up some sweet potatoes, not for Thanksgiving, just for my personal enjoyment. But we got some celery and some red onion here, so let's saute these up. These are my Caraway non-toxic pans that I absolutely love. What is your favorite part about being engaged? I always looked forward to being engaged when I was younger. I just thought the age of engagement was so chic, and it's this beautiful bubble between your adolescence and the next chapter of your life where you start a family, where it's just the two of you and you have this freedom and there's excitement about the future, there's hope and optimism, and it's just the two of you that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. It is just so chic. And so when we got engaged, I knew that I wanted to have a long engagement because I wanted to enjoy being engaged. It's just this blissful bubble of excitement. And I love living in this chic era of engagement in my life. It is just so chic. So by the way, I'm sauteing the celery and onions for like medium high heat, no oil. And while we're doing that, let's get started on the dough of this seitan. Next question, you guys were really, you weren't holding back. How many kids do you want to have? I'm 30, and unfortunately, women's biological clock has not caught up to modern times. So I honestly feel like the answer to this question isn't entirely in my control because, you know, I don't know how that journey is gonna go for me. Hopefully it goes well, but there are time constraints here. I'm getting married so I'm 30 right now, I'm getting married at 31, and then, you know, after 35, it's considered a geriatric pregnancy and risk of birth defect and complications. You guys know, I don't have to tell you about that. But I just wish that I had a little bit more time with all of this. So how many kids do I want? I really don't think it's gonna be that easy of an answer where it's like, I wanna have this many, so I'm gonna have this many. And honestly, like, I'm open to whatever God, the universe, whatever higher power you believe in has in store for me. I trust that what is meant to happen with my family will happen. I don't feel stressed about it in a sense of, you know, trying to conceive and having kids. I really feel that it's gonna go the way that God, the universe, whatever, wants it to go. And I don't feel like it's my decision to be like, I wanna have this many kids. Like, my mom and dad wanted to have 2 kids and they had 2 boys, and then they had me. God had a different plan for them. The universe had a different plan for them. So there's also that saying of you plan, God laughs. And so I honestly look at it as like, I'm not gonna decide how many kids I wanna have. I am just excited for what the universe has in store for me. And whatever it's gonna be, I'm really looking forward to finding out. You know, Michael Singer talks about this a lot, how like, if you think that you have control over the way things are gonna go, you're kidding yourself. I'm just along for the ride. Like, when it comes to that, something that I don't have as much control over, I'm just gonna surrender to the process and be really excited for how that goes. I think I'm really proud of the energy that I have about that with having kids and conceiving and all that. I mean, I got 2 kids, as you know. I have 2 cats. But when it comes to the conception, delivery, and raising another human, I'm just gonna surrender to that process, and I'm really looking forward to whatever it ends up being. But yes, I do plan on having children. I get asked about hair loss a lot and anything that I can recommend. And if you are a woman that is struggling with hair loss, do not be ashamed. There are products that can help. I want to recommend the Shed 3-in-1 hair capsule. I have been taking this every day, so it's great if you are struggling with hair loss, or if you want to prevent hair loss, you want fuller, more vibrant hair. So easy, just take one of these capsules every day. You can get 30% off. I will link it down below. Huge shout out to Shed for sponsoring this vlog. I am a huge fan of them, so check them out if you do struggle with hair loss. It is so easy to just take a capsule every day. The biggest lesson that your relationship has taught you, that's a really good question. I would say I've spent a lot of my life worrying about, by the way, this is peanut butter that I need for this seitan roast, but I need to like mix it because it's all separated. I spent a lot of my life, and I would say like later adolescence and 20s, worrying that things weren't gonna end up okay, that something horrible was gonna happen, or somebody was gonna get sick, or like, I hate to even say this, I don't know why these were the thoughts surged by my brain, but afraid that somebody was gonna like pass away, or like I just lived in this perpetual fear that something horrible was going to happen. And I have like the best fiance in the world, and he has taught me just through his presence, not through explicit instruction, simply through the life that we're building together and just how much we enjoy each other, and just like we are literally best friends who like live in our own little world. I know a lot of you get this, where you have your significant other, if you're lucky enough to have somebody who like, truly deep in my soul, I'm like, this person is literally my soulmate. You have like your own language, you have your own world that you exist in. And he and I have just created such a beautiful little life together. And The biggest lesson that this relationship has taught me is that everything is probably gonna end up okay. And it is possible that you end up with this beautiful life where all the things that you worried about happening never actually happened. I just feel so like bewildered by the fact that my life is my life and like my fiance is my fiance. Like I'll look at him and I'll be like, and I'll look at our apartment and I'll be like, how is this mine? Like what did I do to deserve this in you? I just live in constant awe of the fact that things are actually going really well. And I feel like if and when I'm blessed enough to have children, I may have that experience too, where I'm like, oh my gosh, everything actually did end up okay in the end. So TLDR, like long story short, what I'm saying here is the beautiful relationship that we have together and the man that I'm marrying, who I like can't believe is a real human because I just think he's so perfect, has taught me that it might just be the case that everything ends up okay. What is your go-to comfort meal right now? Well, you know, the word comfort meal is funny because we often associate it with this is bad, this is something unhealthy that you're having. But I love all my meals so much, like genuinely. And the meal that I've been loving recently actually is with my new air fryer, which is back there. I got a Wonder Oven Pro. I will link it below. I am literally obsessed. And so what I do now is I bake my sweet potatoes whole, put them in the fridge, then I chop them up into coins after they've been refrigerated at least for a day, put them in the air fryer and air fry them on, I'm still like kind of figuring out the perfect temperature, but you air fry them to the point where they're crispy and just so delicious. That's been my favorite thing lately. Do you want to do social media forever? I cannot see a world where I am not creating content. Creating content is, I mean, this is what lights me up. As you guys know, I talk about this all the time. This is my absolute favorite thing to do. I cannot see a world where I don't do this. I don't see a world where I retire, honestly. When I think about like, I'm like, what would I do if I were to retire? Like, how would I spend my time? Because you know, in retirement, you want to spend time doing things that are fulfilling and that light you up and all that good stuff. And truly, like, what would I spend my time doing? What lights me up? Content creation. So yeah, I truly cannot see a world where I don't do this. This is my favorite thing in the world to do. What were you like as a kid? As a kid, I was, you know, a great student. I loved school, very well behaved, didn't break any rules, very social, had a lot of friends, played a lot of sports, very involved in school, like student council, class president, very involved in the community, very high achieving, high work ethic, busy, type AAA perfectionist, very similar to who I am now. I think the only thing that has changed between how I was as a kid and how I am now, obviously the way that I eat is extremely different. I ate like standard American diet growing up, but I am a lot more of a homebody now as opposed to when I was younger. When I was younger, I did something every minute of every day. Like I was always out with my friends, out on the weekends, out at parties, like just so social. But I don't drink. And as I got older and drinking very much became a part of the culture and what people like to do, I just found myself wanting to be home more because I hated going out. Like I hate going to bars, all of that stuff. That is not, I hated doing it. And so as I got older, I got a lot more introverted and a lot more of I became a lot more of a homebody. So I would say that that's the only change. What's something you're currently obsessed with that isn't work related? You may know that I have been spending every single night in the sauna, literally my new obsession. So I go to SOA Health and Wellness in Boston. I'll link their website down below. And they have a sauna. I go in this sauna every night. Truly, it is like the carrot that I dangle for myself. I'm like, you make it to the end of the day, you work hard today, you're gonna sit in that sauna tonight. And when I'm in the sauna, okay, Bear, I truly feel like I scrub my brain. At the end of the day, I just sit there, not listening to anything. Sometimes I'll listen to something, but most of the time I need to not. I need to just sit. Let all of the way that I think about it is like, as the day goes on, I add more and more noise and energy to my brain because I'm soaking up like a sponge all of the energy from my work and from the world and everything. That what I don't want to do is listen to something that's just going to add more noise and energy. When I get to the sauna, I want to all of the noise and the energy to just like clean out, clear out, sweat it all out. And to do that for 30 minutes is like the best thing. It is truly my new obsession. When my fiance and I get a house, we 100% will get a sauna. And then I'll torture myself because I'll get pregnant and won't be able to go in the sauna anymore. What is one thing you wish more people knew about you off camera? That's an interesting question. I would say that I truly am the most non-judgmental. How other people live their lives doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not preachy. I don't think that everybody should, I eat the way that I eat, and I don't want to ever force anybody to do anything. Like, I am here to help for people that want my help, but if you don't want my help, that's totally fine. Like, if you don't agree with the way I eat or whatever, like, fine by me. And what's funny about social media is because you end up on people's pages, they think that you are trying to like convince every single person that your viewpoint is the best viewpoint, and you want to debate and you want to argue, and like, that's not me at all. Like, I'm just out here doing my thing, enjoying my life. If you like the way you eat, and like, we can eat differently and have different lives, and that's fine. And I think my answer to this question would be, if you want to come on my page and we interact and I can help you, great. But I'm not knocking on people's doors trying to get them to switch to a whole food plant-based diet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very much like, I don't care what other people do. What's a tiny habit that has changed your life more than you expected? I'm gonna say two things. The first, I'm just gonna say really quickly, I talk about this all the time, so I'm only gonna talk about it for a second. I meditate before every meal. Okay, I talk about that all the time, so I don't need to talk about that anymore. But the other one that has, like, I can't even tell you how impactful it is, and I encourage you to start doing it. At the end of every day, I set a timer for 15 minutes and I power clean. And the impact that has had on my mental state, you just feel, I'm like, everything is where it should be. It's in its place. The house is clean. It's a great way to end the day, because then you wake up to a nice clean house at the beginning of the day. But this is like one of my favorite habits that I highly recommend you do. Set a timer at the end of the day, every day, do a 15-minute power clean. And if you're like, I have nothing to clean, wipe something down. Like, there is always something that can be cleaned. What is your favorite scent for candles? Oh my gosh, I love like fall candles. I love like a cinnamon, a pumpkin spice. I also love like a vanilla cupcake. Like, I like the sweet candles. I love the artesian candles that people make that are like Fruit Loops, and oh my gosh, I live for candles. I'm truly mean it when I say I could spend hours just walking around smelling candles. I know a lot of people are more so the like my fiance, for example, he likes like a pine, an evergreen. Yeah, no, couldn't be me. Anybody else with me on that? What is your hidden talent? Probably singing. I never ever sing in front of people, but I love to sing. I can't dance though. I so wish I could dance, and I just can't, and I so admire people that can dance, but no, I am not a dancer. All right, our dough is coming along here, so I'm gonna put some parchment paper down in my caraway pan. Are you an introvert pretending to be an extrovert? I could spend my entire life at home with my family and I would be perfectly content. I have really great social skills. I can keep up conversation, but if I am out somewhere, I'm probably daydreaming about being back at home. I am just a homebody, and truly, like, I don't need vacations and dinners and events. Like, I just want to be at home. What is your guilty pleasure TV show? Well, if you know me, you know. This is stuffing, by the way. If you know me, you know I love the Kardashians. My bachelorette party had a Kardashian theme night. We all dressed up as Kardashians. Kim K is my girl. So yeah, I also love, like, I don't really keep up as much anymore, but growing up, The Real Housewives was like, my mom and I would watch this religiously, and that was our show together. So I love like the OG Real Housewives, like the OG, Rahoney, OC, Beverly Hills. Those are my girls. Okay, so we've got our seitan dough here. I'm gonna put the stuffing in it and roll her up. If you had to rename yourself, what name would you choose? I really love my name, so my name is Emily. I'm stuffing the stuffing in here now before I roll her up. I love the name Emily. I love my name. I think it is such a pretty, timeless, classic name. So I'm very happy with my name. Another name related question is, are you going to take your fiance's last name? All right, let's try to roll this up. Yeah, so the next question is, are you going to take your fiance's last name? I'm not necessarily in a rush. I love who I am. Like, I grew up as Emily Keefe. I'm so proud to be a Keefe. I love my parents. I love the people that raised me. I love being a Keefe, and so I'm never gonna get rid of that name. I've had that name for 30 years. It's who I am, and I don't plan to get rid of it. When I have kids, I would love if they had my last name and my future husband's last name. And I think perhaps at that point, I will add on his last name. I really haven't decided. Like, I think though I want our kids to have both of our last names. This is getting baked. My seitan roast is still baking, so let's do some more questions. How do you plan to raise your kids with their diet? My kids are carnivores. My kids are cats. No, with my human children, if I am lucky enough to have healthy human children, my plan is to do this. I want it to be that I am always prepping. I have prepped a starch, a protein, vegetables, a source of healthy fat, and then there's always fruit in the house. And whenever it's time to make a meal, I will have the kid decide which starch they want, which protein they want, which veg they want, which healthy fat that they want, and teach them how to craft properly balanced meals. I'm not going to be a crazy person about what they eat. I really want to raise them to be in tune with their body, know what makes them feel good, know how to make balanced meals. But also, like, if they're out at a birthday party or if they're out with friends, they can eat whatever they want to eat. I'm not like running a cult here. I'm not going to be crazy about it. I just am going to teach them how to make balanced meals at home. And then, sorry, V, and then whatever happens outside of the house is, you know, this is a skill that they'll have to learn, and I'm going to support them and guide them. And I feel very confident in my ability to do that, but I'm not going to make it a stressful, rigid set of rules that they have to follow. What is the hardest part of growing up, in your opinion? I have loved growing up. I love getting older and wiser and just being more confident in how I choose to live my life. I'll give you an example. I had somebody, like a new acquaintance, ask me recently, do you want to go grab dinner? And I don't like going out to dinner. I don't like spending money on food. I would rather make something myself that I genuinely enjoy and I can make it better at home. I think going out to dinner is just like a waste of money. You're out super late. Like, it's just not my favorite thing to do. And so I said to this person, and I probably wouldn't have done this, you know, in my teens or even in my 20s, but now that I'm 30, I'm like, you know what, so I wrote her back and I said, to be honest, going out, like, I'm not really a going out to dinner person, but I would love to make us dinner if you want to come over here and have dinner. And I think that's part of growing up, is having the confidence to be able to do that and say that. And then you're surrounding yourself with people that are actually your people, as opposed to putting on this facade, doing things that you don't like to do, and then ending up in relationships where you dread hanging out with them because you're doing things that you didn't want to do in the first place. So I've really liked growing up. I think one of the biggest realizations I've had about growing up is that it's my parents' first time doing life too. And when you grow up and you realize like, okay, I'm gonna have kids and I'm still me. I'm gonna have these kids, and it's not like you automatically, like growing up, I thought that my parents were always parents, and they like knew, everybody thinks this, right? That like your parents know what to do, they're your parents, they've always been parents, they have the world figured out. But as you get older, you realize like nobody knows what they're doing. They're all just making it up as they go along. And there's a lot of comfort in that. I have found a lot of comfort in that. I've loved growing up and getting older. What is something that recently surprised you about yourself? That's a good question. I would say that like, I have started to care so much less about the things that don't matter recently, and just be like so unserious and just not taking everything so seriously. Like nobody makes it out of here alive. At the end of the day, people only care about themselves. They're their own main character in their world. And I don't know, I've just let so much, like, I have been so unserious lately, and I'm a very serious person, but unserious in the way that I just am not I'm not taking things so heavily to heart so much anymore, and just being like, whatever, and just letting things roll off my back. And it's been a really gorgeous way to live. I highly recommend. What's a moment from this week that you want to remember? That's a really good one. I ask this question a lot of myself, like, what's a moment from today that you want to remember? Well, this week is Thanksgiving, which is my favorite holiday ever, but you know, I'm gonna be married next Thanksgiving, and my life is gonna start to change. This is actually our last Thanksgiving in the city, because we'll probably be out in the suburbs next year if we're able to find a house that we like. And I want to remember this, I talked about this earlier in the video, this bubble of like, it's just the two of us, and that's gonna change in coming years. And I will look back on this not with a longing for it and like missing it, but just so grateful that I had it. And I want to look back on it and be able to say that I fully enjoyed it. I don't want to have nostalgia where I look back and I'm like, why didn't I realize how good it was when I was there, and I long for it and I wish I could go back? I don't want that. I want nostalgia where I can look back and say, I'm so grateful for that memory, and I'm so grateful that I was present for all of it and I fully soaked it up, knowing that I was in the good old days. What's one trait you really admire in your partner? Oh my gosh, so many. He is the most flexible, go with the flow person. When I met him, he was like, I like nice guys. I know a lot of girls like the bad boy and like the guy who's like a jerk to you. Like, no, I want a cinnamon roll. I want a golden retriever. I want like the nicest guy. I want a nice, gentle boy. I always say I want a gentle boy. And like, I truly have the cream of the crop when it comes to that. I have the sweetest, most gentle, just like the best boy ever. And what I admire so much about him is his adaptability, his flexibility, his willingness to go with the flow, keep an even keel. And I don't have that. I am much more rigid with my routines and what I do day to day. And he like travels so much for work. He's super flexible. He'll do anything. I'll be like, do you want to go here? Do you want to have this? Do you want to eat that? He'll just like, yep, sounds good, sure. Like literally the easiest person to live with, get along with. I don't know how he puts up with me. I really admire his flexibility and go with the flow nature, and he's just like the most gentle, kind person ever. I will also say I admire his charity and his selflessness. I remember once around the holidays a few years ago, we did like a donation, and like a toy donation for kids. And he doesn't know that I know this, but I was looking in his coat pocket for his keys, and I pulled out the receipt of the toy store that he went to buy the toys for the toy donation. And I was like astounded by how much he spent at the toy store to get these kids new toys, and like would never say it, just like did it out of the goodness of his heart. He comes from a family where charity is very important to them and giving back, and is very selfless, so giving, and I really admire that too. What's something you're currently working on within yourself? I am currently working on letting myself enjoy the beautiful life that I have. I talked about a little bit earlier in the video how I just have this, and it's probably just like generalized anxiety of just fearing that something bad is going to happen in terms of like my family and losing somebody, and that just, whatever, who cares? It doesn't matter why I have it. Finding out why I have it isn't gonna make it go away. It's how I respond to it. And so what I have been working on is just staying present, recognizing my life is so beautiful right now. Everyone is healthy right now. Everyone is here. Today, everything is great. And I'm gonna stay in this present moment, because when you worry, you only suffer twice. 90% of the things we worry about don't happen, and they say the other 10% don't matter. But something that I'm currently working on, I think I'm doing a really great job at, is a la Eckhart Tolle, staying present, not getting lost in the what ifs. That's a terrible way to live. And instead of fearing of what if this happens, what if that happens, what if this happens, saying things are really great right now. And so I'm just gonna enjoy that. My next vlog is going to be Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna show you guys everything that we're eating. I hope you enjoyed this cozy little morning with me. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.